Dr. Andy Pershing from Dubai, COP28. This is a really big deal. Huge climate summit happening right now. So glad we were able to catch up with you and see what's going on. So can you give me, first of all, a quick little background of what COP is for those who don't know?
Sure. COP stands for the Conference of Parties. So this is organized by the United Nations, and the number 28 means it's the 28th one. So they've been doing this for a long time. So this is really where the world comes together to try to figure out what they're going to do about climate change. So this is things like the Paris Climate Accords came out of a previous COP meeting. And every year they're trying to take some steps forward on helping to solve this climate crisis.
It's got to be a real who's who as well. I've seen, like the vice president. I've seen King Charles was there. Is that true?
That's he arrived before I did, so I didn't get to hang out with him very much. But yes, he was here, and Vice President Harris was here, and lots of equivalent people from other countries.
Gotcha. Okay, so what's new this year? What is being done at COP this year?
So the big deal this year is what's called the global stock take. So the Paris Climate Accords back in 2015, 2016, set up this idea of each country putting on the table the commitments that they were going to make to reduce their carbon emissions. And this is the year where they're basically doing the accounting on how countries have done and whether they've made enough commitments. And, the big news is that it's not really a surprise is that, we're falling way, way short as a species in taking care of this planet.
And what's the United States role in all of this? What's kind of happening with the U.S.? Because this climate assessment just recently came out. So how does that all tie in?
Sure. So the U.S. climate assessment is sort of a separate thing. That's the U.S. really looking at what climate change means for the country of the United States. The U.S. role here is both as the historically the largest emitter, so the country that has contributed the most to the climate problem, but then also the country that has a lot of resources and now is really showing a lot of leadership to try to solve this problem. So bringing other countries together, trying to make various agreements. The big story that started last year and has continued this year are continuing work on methane, which is a super powerful greenhouse gas. And the U.S. has shown real leadership in trying to reduce methane emissions and get that out of the fossil fuel industry.
Yeah, I was going to ask if methane was kind of the big deal this year, because from what I've been reading, I keep seeing new articles and it's always been there, but it feels like there's certainly a light being shed on it recently.
Yeah, it's really accelerated. It's risen in global prominence because it's such a powerful greenhouse gas, and nobody wants methane emissions, right? That's natural gas that could be burned and used for something useful. And so having that leak into the atmosphere is just really bad for everyone. And so the oil and gas industry is really committing to try to reduce the leaks that they're responsible for. If they can do that, it will give us a couple of years extra time to get the carbon dioxide emissions under control, which is the big challenge that we have.
So what is Climate Central's role there? What are you doing there?
So we're officially a United Nations Observer Organization. So we're here in theory to observe and be able to kind of do things like we're doing now. So report back on what's going on. We like to think that we're a resource that's, somebody's going to come and listen to something that we say, and that might matter. But there really is, COP has grown over the years. It used to just be the delegations talking. Now there's the official UN discussions. And then there's this whole huge, basically like trade show, science conference that's going on around the COP. So you have scientists, you have industry leaders, you have folks working on, civil society issues that are all here to try to understand their piece of the climate problem.
Talk to me about safety, because there's been rumors of protests. And of course, you think of all these countries coming together, and kind of a controversial topic for some. What is safety like there?
It's felt very safe. I mean, the United Nations does a good job with these. So we have to go through metal detectors every morning. And, there's very strict things that happen around for the COP on, badging, so that you have to have credentials to get into the area that we're in right now. So it feels very safe where we are. And I haven't any issues so far.
Anything else you want to share with our viewers about what's going on at COP or climate in general?
Well, I mean, I'd say, your viewers, especially those who are interested in weather, one of the really big discussions that's been going on the last couple of years is around early warning systems. We take for granted in the United States how good we have it in terms of weather information and really, really good communications around health and safety, around extreme weather. That doesn't exist everywhere else in the world, and so there's a big effort to try to get these systems in place in other countries so we can try to keep people safe as the weather gets crazier.
All right, Dr. Andy Pershing, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your time there in Dubai. The weather looks a little warm, but great.
It's pretty hot here. Yeah.